Good morning, world.
Yes.
What have we got to eat today, darling?
Oh, sandwich, egg, cheese, ham, or salad. Which one you prefer? And the white plate.
Oh, they're the same though, right?
Yeah, the
They
same.
are definitely the same.
The same. It's just different plates.
Different plates. Okay, cool. Well,
Maybe you choose the white one. The flour is for me.
I'll choose the more masculine one.
Okay,
I
sure.
think the more masculine one's better.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Now, we'd normally show you video on this, but we're a startup and we don't have the funds yet to buy camera equipment. So if you'd like to contribute to our crowdfunding, you just let us know.
Yes, I can film.
For now, it's just audio.
I can film it from my camera.
Don't tell them that. We're trying to make some money here. Welcome to the Random English Podcast. My name is Mr. James, and here I am with
Mr. Ying.
Welcome to our first episode. In this episode, we're going to be sharing with you random topics in English. That's why we called it the Random English Podcast. So roll the dice and let's begin.
Okay. Now
Take a photo after.
Take a photo after.
But when
With
you take
two empty.
when you take the photo, the plate should just be empty.
Oh.
They should never see it because it was so good that we ate it.
I think when you want to eat a sandwich, you should turn it and eat in the corner. Don't eat in the middle.
Yeah, you're right. Like this?
Like that. Yeah, yes.
All right, let's try it.
Yes.
3, 2, 1. Everything I could possibly want in this moment. That's good, darling.
Yummy.
For the listeners, my wife is basically becoming a gourmet chef. She's not working in the restaurant business, but she's thinking of starting her own restaurant. But we're not ready yet. This is the project for now.
Wow, so good.
I like this setup the best. It's the best right now. We even got a bit of background music.
You sent me the video in the morning and I look at all the white and cheese on the table.
For the listeners, I'm doing research at the moment. I'm quite a fan of comedian podcasts. I'd like to make a shout out to Sebastian Montesacco, who's a fantastic comedian living in California in America. And he does that with his business partner, friend, and also a stand-up comedian, another guy called, forget how to say his last name, it's an Italian name, but his first name's Pete. Sebastian Montesacco and Pete Corielli. That's his name, Pete Corielli. And I get a feeling that Pete Corielli kind of grew up on a similar time frame as Bill Burr, which is another fantastic comedian, and they had him on the show recently. But these guys, they've been recording their podcast remotely over the internet, but Pete's visiting Sebastian in California, so they don't have to do the remote podcasting. So they've been sitting in the same room rather than over the net. But I'm going to be honest with you, what I like about these guys, they have a great chemistry, but they've always found a way to make it work, right? Even if they're not in the same location. I believe Pete's like further on the other side of America, on the East Coast, and Sebastian's on the West Coast, but they always found a way to make the podcast work, even if they couldn't be in a physical location. So that gives me a lot of ideas for how we can do stuff when we interview teachers, because we're not comedians, but I like to have a good laugh, occasionally make a joke. But when it comes to interviews, we'll have the technology to do that, as well as sit here and just riff at home. We're just in our home kitchen in a private residence, but we want to share this with you. So yeah, on the latest episode that I sent you, Pete and Sebastian are sitting in a wine and cheese place with Italian meats, and Sebastian sipping on a wine at 10 a.m. in the morning. And I'm thinking, another idea. Something like that. We could do cocktails. You know, I love a vodka with lemonade and lime. And I've been experimenting. I'm trying to reduce sugar in my diet. Obviously, that's not going to work 100% with alcohol, but just sugar-free Sprite or 7-Up with a lime, shot of vodka and some ice, especially in the summer. we're in Southeast Asia, so it gets very muggy and humid here. Fantastic drink to have on a day off.
Yay! I'm finished. Wow, look at this. It's gone.
I'm still going. It's your turn to talk. What's on your mind? Any thoughts? Anything you want to share?
I want to buy a machine to make a sandwich. You think about like the sandwich,
the toasted sandwich maker.
The toasted sandwich maker.
I don't know why we don't have one of those.
Oh,
I talked about that years ago.
We should have one now.
Yeah, a toasted sandwich maker, which is harder to get in Vietnam, right?
I think in the metro, we can go to metro.
You wanna. I think on the Friday, right? Charlotte's gonna be off, yeah.
Yeah. Friday, but everyone off, so maybe
school holidays. We have a daughter.
School holiday, but then like every school off, so I think maybe get busy at the mall.
But the mega, where did you say you could get the toasted sandwich maker?
Is it
the mega market?
The mega market.
I don't think that'll be busy. We should go have a look anyway, because I remember they had great alcohol. I remember they had different bottles of stuff at good prices. Because in Vietnam, they don't always have everything in the one place. They have a lot of variety. It just depends where you are. But I remember you could get different types of alcohol there. I think you could even get international wines cheaper. Often there's a tax on the wine here, obviously, because it's imported. I mean, it's still reasonable price, but I do remember they also had different bottles of vodka too. So who knows? Like I love the Absolute at the moment. The Swedish one, that's fantastic, most convenient. So I just buy what's convenient. But if we're taking a trip to the mega market, could expand the horizons. Yeah, we should go up there. Remember that they had a variety of stuff. Remember, you could buy plates, you could buy all kinds of stuff. You know, if you're thinking, there's a couple of things I wouldn't mind for the kitchen, maybe we should put Charlotte in a trolley. She'll be happy. Remember, we took her, we put her in the trolley the other day, and she stopped complaining about her sore feet because she didn't have to walk anymore, and then we didn't get tired having to carry her. You've outdone yourself again, honey. So I noticed something that happens. When you were talking, you were tapping the table. You are living the dream as a housewife.
A housewife. Be a chef for my husband and for my daughter.
Thank you so much. We are the sole beneficiaries of that.
My two favorite customer at the moment.
Tell the listeners.
Love to serve you guys.
Cool. Tell the listeners about some of the food requests our daughter has made.
Yeah.
So she's only 4 years old.
She asked me.
But what did she ask you to make?
Mommy, can you make an egg roll, egg, ham and cheese?
Egg, ham and cheese roll.
Eggs, ham and cheese roll. I'm hungry. Last night we have great chicken, so she say she prefer to eat chicken. But tonight I will make egg roll for her. Think about it. Mom, can I have some rice, soy sauce? Soy sauce.
Yeah, rice and soy sauce. She loves that.
Pork, and broccoli, and chicken, and noodle.
That was a great pre-workout meal.
So now how long we wait? We wait 20 minutes?
Yeah, 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes.
Yeah. And then
shouldn't have to wait that long for the listeners. So our daily routine. So part of the English lesson, free English lesson for you. Talking about our daily routine. So we woke up at 6 o'clock today, got the daughter ready, got her on the school bus, came home, went to the bathroom, freshened up, take a shower, and then looked at the calendar to see what's on the agenda today. Get some online classes later. If you're interested in that, reach out. There'll be contact details. Just looking at what's happening later in the day. But the morning time is basically couple time for us, right? Once the daughter's out of the house, it's couple time for us, and then we look at exercising and gym and fitness. But it's bodybuilding today.
Personal time and then couple time.
Personal time
And
couple time
couple time.
And health time, like fitness time, right?
And work
time. The work's later in the day.
Yeah, the work later in the day.
Yeah. So once we know what's coming up later in the day, which is usually around the same time as the daughter gets home, so that's a bit challenging because that's when our peak time is, but then the daughter always wants attention, so you take care of her for that, and I start working the online classes. But getting back to it, this time of the day is becoming very much my favorite time of the day, when it's just me and you. That's very selfish, but at the same time, you really need that. So so the daily routine consists of getting up, getting the daughter to school, going to the gym, coming back, eating again. Often naps too. I find I need extra naps these days, which is unheard of in other countries, especially my country. People don't really do that. Some do, but in Vietnam, it's kind of like the Spanish, the siesta, right? And then after that, it's almost time to get the daughter, another bit of coffee, and then down to get the daughter. One of the best things about our setup for the daughter is that they've got a pick up and drop off bus service. It's fantastic. It's really, really nice. Anyways, that's all I got. You got anything else to say right now? Don't worry if there's bits that we don't like, we can cut them out and edit it. I can trim this. Anything else on your mind?
No.
I just want us to get used to this, where we take time. It doesn't have to be every day, but just every once in a while, throw the recorder on. You know what I love about the audio too? I don't need to look presentable, even though I am presentable. You know, I can just sit here, look like a bum or a homeless, but no one would actually know that.
No.
Well, they know now, but they wouldn't know that. Hey guys, welcome back. This is the Random English Podcast. Just had an idea. If you hear me saying things on the podcast that you don't understand, let me know in the comments section. I will try to explain those vocabularies in the comments section or in a future episode. Back to my workout. So we're out on the street. So that noise you're hearing in the background is just a street seller. He wants to sell some fruit and vegetables because that's what they do here in Vietnam. And I'm sitting here with my lovely wife, Thuy. Say hi to everyone.
Hi.
So we came across something that we'd like to share with you today. I'm just going to bring it up on my Facebook. My wife made a post about us being together, or me being in Vietnam for 10 years. We just had I had a 10-year anniversary. I left Australia 10 years ago and I'm still in Vietnam. And during that time, that's when I met my lovely lady, and I've been working as an English teacher. I'm really disappointed in Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg, you suck. And the reason why you suck is the translation on Vietnamese to English is terrible, because people that read the Facebook that don't know how to read Vietnamese or understand Vietnamese, they're going to click translate. Facebook post is going to turn into an English post for my contacts back in Australia or whoever's on my friend list on the tag. So anyways, I'm not fluent in Vietnamese, but I've been here long enough to understand the accent, and we're going to read in Vietnamese, and then I'm going to read the translation, and you're going to see how terrible the translation service on Facebook is. And shame on you, Facebook. Google's much better when it comes to this. All right, so here we go. Don't feel you have to correct me. Just enjoy, right?
Okay.
But if I ask you, then correct. You know what? Whatever. I'll just read it.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is your post in tiếng Việt. Chào mừng anh đi Việt Nam. Tốt nghiệp thập niên anh nhỉ. Thương anh Nam. Chúng ta quen biết lắm. Đồng nghiệp là và là bạn đồng hành trong tất cả mọi việc, mọi nhà. Dừng. Or or as we say in Saigon, Yung. In Vietnam, there's two accents. There's Hanoi and then there's South. We're in the South. I like to say Dung, but I also like to say Yung. Okay. Mỗi nam không phải lúc nào cũng là nhu cuối. Nhưng chung ta cũng không và cũng một mình ăn là ăn hà. Cảm ơn anh bằng cùng nghiệp đồng cam con cười với em. Chúc anh mà vui cao toàn lôi chung tất cả mọi việc hạnh phúc và bình an. Tiếp tục hợp tác với nhiều anh nhé. Okay, so you probably want to know what I've been saying. By the way, my wife is laughing. Why is it funny, darling? Good pronunciation or terrible? Okay. What do you rate the pronunciation? I know I made mistakes.
It's so. It's okay.
It's so. Pretty good for a foreigner that doesn't study. That's just from listening to you guys in the house. Okay, so here's the translation for terrible reading of Vietnamese. Okay, so this is why Facebook sucks. Welcome England to Vietnam for 1 decade. That doesn't sound like you. Here we go. Every year we get to know each other as colleagues and companions in everything, every crossroads. 10 years is not always a smile, but we don't have to cry alone either. Aha or anha. Thank you, brother. I'm your brother. Colleague, companion. This is the one that weirded me out. Copper orange, add suffering to me. What is copper orange?
Oh my God.
Add suffering to me. Are you suffering? Wish you happiness, success in everything, happiness and peace. Continue to cooperate with each other, brother. 10 more years to have a little treasure. Love you so much, honey. That is a shit translation. Anyway, at least the pictures are nice.
Oh my God.
Can you explain to me what's copper orange in Vietnamese and add suffering to me? What is that?
This is translated, not me. It's translated.
What's copper orange in Vietnamese? Do you understand that?
It's wrong. It's wrong.
When have you ever said copper orange?
No, never say that.
Well, that's what it's put. Facebook.
Because
raise your game.
They translate word by word, but that's not right. It's just so. Oh my God.
That's terrible. But anyway, there you have it. So my wife's got the banana in her hand and she's smiling at me. Go on, please continue.
Look, it looks like something.
Yes, of course. It's been a while. We've been so busy. Can you describe the banana? Come on, they need to know adjectives.
Okay, it's a little bit.
This is English learning. We have to be educational. We can't just be talking. It also has got to be a little bit educational, but of course highly entertaining.
Okay, so a little bit long and round.
Okay, so let me help you. So the roundness of the banana is known as the girth.
The girth.
That's a new word. I've never heard you say that.
The girth.
Girth.
The girth.
Yeah. The girth of the banana.
The girth.
The girth of the banana, yes.
The girth of the banana.
The length and the girth.
The length, yeah, the length.
Girth.
And the
How thick the banana is.
I think the other little bit thicker.
You think mine's thicker, or do you think mine's a little bit thinner? That's a good sized banana, though.
Okay, so like I said that, I think the other thing is a little bit shorter than this, but thicker. Okay.
You think mine's thicker?
Yeah, this one is.
Well, it's your fantasy, because I'm looking at that and I go, I think mine's a little less thick. but not.
No.
Do you think it's the same size?
No, different size. No.
Maybe I have body dysmorphia.
Yes, no. I hold it on my hand many times, so I know it's different.
So you're saying that's thicker than mine?
No, your one thicker.
My one's thicker.
Yeah.
Well, I must have the wrong lenses.
Your one thicker than the banana on my hand right now.
Yeah, because when I look at mine, maybe it's just because you're a guy. It's always like, it'd be nice if it was a bit bigger, even though I'm happy with it.
You look from the like you look.
Maybe
you look down.
That angle, looking
like,
down on it.
You're looking down, so you see it's small, but.
I would say that's a nice size.
Yeah.
And maybe because you're a little smaller, it looks a little bigger.
Oh, maybe. So, okay. You don't mind I have a bite now?
Yeah, go on. Ooh. Cheers, darling.
Cheers.
So lots of double meanings going on here. We're talking about fruit, but can you tell what else we're talking about? Leave an answer in the comments. This is the Random English Podcast. We also have here these are known as a mandarin.
The mandarin.
Mandarin. It's kind of like a smaller orange. Mandarin.
It's smaller? It's smaller than the orange?
Yeah.
It's from Australia too.
Really sweet.
Do you want some more banana?
Now that sounds really weird for you to say you want some more of my banana.
No.
Can anyone hear the double meaning? That's what I should be saying. Would you like some more of my banana? This is fun. You know, the other reason why we started this podcast, I've been thinking about it, is just to break up the monotony of just the standard English class, you know. Have something that's a little bit more advanced, that's also very entertaining for the teacher, and not just always about like, okay.
Just want to have fun.
Yeah. Like, I mean, if you get a beginner English student, it's like, okay, I really have to just keep it as simple as possible because they don't have enough vocabulary yet. But once they got a little bit of vocabulary and I start to figure out what they know and what they don't know,
yes.
it gets easier. But also, if you do too much of that week to week, I find that's when I start to get a little bit, I need a drink. I need to go out and perhaps interact with another native speaker or you. And then we're so busy that it doesn't happen. And then I find like just my general mood can actually be
I understand.
Affected.
Yeah.
For example, here, finish that.
Oh,
Yesterday I
finished your banana.
Yes, finish my banana. So, for example, yesterday you would have noticed that I was a little bit grumpy, and I think it's also lack of communication. I think for me, my personality thrives on communication. Let's open this mandarin. God, it's so nice to be here.
I know you love to sharing, talking, but then if you in the class too much, you will feel like that's not good for you either.
Yes, that's right.
Because
it took me a while to figure that out too.
Yes, you like to talk, but you want to talk about random thing. You're not really you don't want to just sit there and talk with something like already on the curriculum, like the setup thing.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a past tense, this is a future tense, this is the present perfect, present continuous, whatever. You will feel like, oh my God, this is what am I doing now? So I understand.
Here's what's funny about that. When you grow up in a country where you learn English from your parents and your teachers, and there's no second language. Second language is optional, but the primary is the English language. If you were to ask me, what do you remember from your English classes from maybe not primary school because it's too long ago now, but high school? I don't remember a lot from my English classes. I did enjoy my teacher, but I don't remember hearing I don't remember hearing anything about, oh, this is past tense, this is present tense.
Did you study grammar in your English class?
I'm sure we did, but I don't remember them saying anything about that. This is the thing that's very strange about the English teaching world when it's a second language. Like, let me ask you the same thing. When you were at your school in Vietnam, primary school, high school, I know you loved school. Most students don't, but you loved it, so that was your gift. Do you remember, forget English, but your first language, do you remember the teacher ever talking about grammar in the class for Vietnamese?
I remember all, like from grade 1 to grade 5 to grade 12. I remember all of the thing I would study at school.
Okay. There is a little bit of truth there, because I do remember learning about like basic grammar, like this is a noun, this is a verb, this is an adjective. But beyond that, I don't remember them saying anything. But the big question is, was it because I was just being a dumbass? There's a word for you. Dumbass. A teenage boy that's not listening to the teacher and just laughing with his friends in the class. There's definitely an element of that. So maybe it's just that I didn't pay attention. But then I remember when it came to the TEFL class, all that grammar stuff, all the tense stuff, that's when it all came to me. Because now you're the teacher. But prior to that, no. But the only way you can really get through it is just being a native speaker. So as long as your language is fine, as a teacher living abroad, teaching English as a second language, you're in a situation where, okay, I understand all the theory from the course, but I have to rely on, well, what would my mum say? What would my dad say? How do I say it as you grow up? How did the teachers talk? So I might not be able to explain why it's this answer always, but I just know that that's the correct way to say it, and the other way that the student is saying it is not correct, because they're getting the sentence structure a little bit wrong, just the odd.
Yes.
Like okay, another one that came to me was prepositions, in, on, at, between. They often get particularly time prepositions, they tend to get that wrong, and that's fine because you're there to teach them. No one knows that. That's why they're there. But again, growing up in an English country, you get a lot of that stuff without knowing it. Like most Vietnamese couldn't tell you about the grammar structure unless they were teachers. They wouldn't be able to tell you about the tenses. But they just know, if you went to them and you say, how do I say this correctly in your language? They would just instinctively know that structure is the correct way, and the way that you're saying it, because it's not your first language, is a little bit wrong. So just change it. It's exactly the same thing. And I think that happens with every language.
Yes.
Unless you had it from the parents and the school, that's kind of how it is. It's two worlds, really.
The thing is, because of the feeling in the language, you study your English with your parent, but you're not really like, you have the feeling for the work and thing. You learn everything when you still in the womb. But with a different language, a second language, when you study that, you already like feel like, that's a second language, and now I have to practice this, practice that. So you can be natural. You will like force yourself to do something. You say, I have to do, and then I have to remember this to say it in the right way. Always think about right or wrong. So that's kill all the feeling, and then you can't speak it natural. So if foreigners study Vietnamese or Vietnamese study English, it's similar.
Yeah.
You have to take time, and you have to really understand the culture. Example like this with Vietnamese students study grammar, or teacher teach grammar, but they don't understand why the grammar in English have to be like this. We have to go back to the Western culture, English culture. They always want everything to clear. and always follow like, okay, if I say this, I have to make sure it's clear in the form of verb and it's clear in the time. And they always make it so like neat. That's why the grammar have to be like, okay, this subject have to go with this verb and this verb have to follow with this time. So if the teacher and the student they understand about the English culture, they will study English the grammar better and they will feel it easier. So for me when I study, I figured out, okay, their culture, people really independent, confident, and most of the time honest too. So honest.
You get a bit more.
When you work with something honest, it means you have to follow the truth. You have to say everything in the right time, in the right verb, and in the right subject. That's why they put their sentence just follow their culture. So in Vietnam, Vietnamese people can speak one word, but that word can carry many meaning, and then sometimes they make people like misunderstanding, and then you see even me when I speak Vietnamese to Vietnamese people, but sometimes they get misunderstanding.
Sure.
So because the language is already like combine so many meaning inside, so when they look at you, they listen to you, but they not really like listen, because when you say that word, they already think about like around.
I'm actually doing that right now.
Yeah. You do it right now.
Just a little bit. I'm teasing. I am listening.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say, that's a common issue everywhere.
Yeah, because with the grammar, English grammar, we need to understand about your culture, how people talk, how people work, and how people think about things. So if we can understand that, we will see, oh, grammar is not really a big deal. You have to change your behavior. You have to train your mind. You use English. You have to follow the truth.
I was gonna say that's a very good point. But the other thing that I was thinking was how often are students reading today? Generally,
that's why
doesn't matter what language, but how often are they reading? They're not, are they?
They read because they get push from the school and teacher.
Yeah,
read,
but they
so
don't. They're not that interested,
really,
are they?
They don't really read to understand. They read because they get the pressure. You have to read that.
But I actually think that's a big mistake, because let's say you don't get the targeted language from your parents or your teachers, but you are reading in that type, like you've at least got the pronunciation. You know how to get the pronunciation. You've done some basic. You know the alphabet of the targeted language, for example, English. But when you're actually sitting down and reading, even if you're not thinking about grammar and structure, it's automatically going into your mind by just looking at the sentences on the page. And it doesn't matter what kind of reading it is, if it's fact or fiction, meaning.
Yes.
Yeah. They're just reading it, and it's going into the unconscious mind, right?
Yes.
Some of the best students have often said their English got a lot better just because they read a lot in the targeted language. They read a lot of English books, and then they didn't really they didn't really understand the grammar 100%, but they naturally knew which one was the correct way to say it. And then from the reading, that influenced their speaking, and that influenced how they wrote emails or texted people, or how they communicated in general, is because they spent the time in the books. And I think one of the biggest challenges today is that reading is just not exciting anymore. And I think that we can just blame fantastic technology on that. You know, like I'm actually, when it comes to reading now, I am reading a little bit, but I'm doing a lot of audio. Like I sit and I listen to things, whatever the topic is, but I'm not actually reading. But it's not as important for me because I'm already adult.
We will learn a lot in the book if we read more.
So someone that's like, let's say, okay, you're going to go and learn this language. You would have to read. You would have to keep looking at the words. So it doesn't matter what language it is. You just keep reading it. And then over time, but you would have to be consistent. You have to be reading quite a lot consistently.
Yes.
And then naturally, I think you would eventually get to where you want to go.
Yeah.
Anyways, food for thought.
Food for thought.
All right. This is the Random English Podcast. Thank you for listening. Leave a comment in the comment section. Send us some feedback. Let us know what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it. We really appreciate having you here. And let us know if you have any requests. Let us know if there's something that you're interested in that we haven't covered. Look forward to the next episode, the Random English Podcast.